Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I'm your host, Dylan Cooper, their constant host over here.
Gavin Franklin.
Guys, you're here this week to review Heralds of the Siege, the anthology. And I actually like this anthology.
Yeah, it was a good one. The more I read anthologies, okay, I've realized that anthologies are okay as long as they're not back to back or themed.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. Like the Korax one was really good. That was
The
themed.
Korax. Now, here's the thing
Talorn
about
was really
Korax, though. Okay, let's take a step back.
Hold on, Dylan. You're 2 for 2 over here. That's
Wait a minute.
bullshit.
Let's take a step back. Korax was kind of an anthology, but it was also like a book. Like all the anthologies were
Yeah, but I'm sure those were
order,
released
and it was
not in order.
right. But when you read the actual anthology, right?
Yes.
It's like they're in
It's like
order.
a theme.
It's a full story about one person. All the characters are consistent, and it like references things that it literally reads like a book. Okay. Talorn is an anthology because it has 3 stories in it. 2 of them take up 12% of the book. So Talorn is a book. Like it's a book with like a long prologue, essentially, is what it is. So I don't know about those 2 books. What I'm talking about, Tales of Heresy, Mark of Cal, Born of Flame, fucking. Oh, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. The thing is, like, they're okay when they're not grouped together and not focused on something where all of the stories are completely scattered. Like Talorn and Korax all are about like one story. Where like Mark of Cal, just the theme was Cal, but none of the stories were connected to each other, which was miserable. And like Born of Flame, the theme was salamanders, but none of the stories were connected to each other. Yeah. Also miserable.
Yeah, so, we'll say before we get too into things, I really wish they flipped the last 2 stories in this book.
Wait. You mean Now Pearl's Midnight?
Yes.
I wish that one was last.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Because then you have that really weird one.
Dreams of Unity is stupid.
Yeah,
I wish that wasn't really there. I forgot that existed. Yeah, I wish New Peals of Midnight or Now Peals Midnight was last, and the board set was before it.
Yeah, I agree. But there's a lot of. I mean, I wish Titan Death happened before this book.
Yeah, well, I also wish Titan Death happened before Slaves of Darkness, but here we are.
Yeah.
But before we go too far into the book, guys, as always, hit us up on our Discord. You find that pinned to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. Email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. Hit us up on YouTube, also at the Heresy Lodge. Go there, like, subscribe, leave comments. Speaking of comments, I found out the other day that there is a graphic novel of the greatest space battle of all time.
Get out of town.
Yeah, there's a fucking graphic novel, dude.
Oh my god. You know what? As a median, that might be the best way to portray space battles.
I agree. Like, I thought about that. I was like, man, that's not something I want to read, but I would love to see pictures of it.
Over a book? Easily.
Yeah.
Now, of course, a movie would be the best, but graphic novel, like that's the best printing you could get for a space battle.
Yeah. So those are the types of goodies you can find in our comment section. Check it out. We also are part of the Pants of Horus Tacticus group. Check them out. Discord.gg/Pants of Horus. Gavin, what are you drinking, dude?
So this is a gift. I had a friend come. I am a part of his wedding party, so he gave me a gift. Raven, actually, is who this was.
Nice.
Sugarland Shine. It's moonshine.
I've had Sugarland. Sugarlands are good.
It's really good. 25%.
They are way better than the Old Smoky.
Yeah. So this is 25%. Appalachian and apple pie. So it's a lot like weaker than a lot of moonshine out there. I cannot really taste the alcohol. Like this is a very dangerous drink.
Mm-hmm.
I could see this causing some problems for some people.
Yeah, highly recommend them over Old Smoky.
Mm-hmm.
I bought myself a nice party pack from the liquor store. It is Sun King party pack, and it is a ale cocktails. So it's ales mimicking cocktails. I don't know. So the first one I'm drinking is called Fuzzy Fresh. It's ale with orange and peach. Which I don't know what that's supposed to be.
Doesn't seem like a cocktail.
Maybe it's like mimosa.
Cocktail needs like liquor, or is it saying like this tastes like a cocktail without the liquor?
It's like inspired by a cocktail.
I mean, that's cool.
Yeah. My other one is the Midtown Mule. So
I love myself a good mule. Mules are a fantastic mixed drink.
Very good.
The
Fuzzy Fresh.
Yeah, did I tell you about the meadery in Lexington? Did I already bring that up like in one of the podcasts?
Like every week.
Okay. Well, let's move on then.
Please tell me.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, they introduced a whole cocktail mead thing to me, which was pretty mind-boggling. Mead sucks, but cocktails were really, really good, really interesting. So that might be something we need to try at some point. Like in one of the special episodes, we like try and make like maybe when I'm there.
Yeah,
like a little.
Need you to come back up to good old Indiana.
Yeah, I'll hopefully permanently, but we'll see when that comes along. Probably sometime during the siege would be my thought process.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, Gavin, Heralds of the Siege. We open with what the fuck are we opening with?
Myriad, the one about the artificial intelligence on Mars.
Oh yeah, didn't give a fuck about this one.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what this is like kind of hyping me up for. Jesus.
Knocked over a fucking mini Christmas tree. He's like, oh, did I do that? So start talking while I pick up all the shit real quick.
So what this is, what Myriad is interesting in is Mortis, because I'm wondering if this like great artificial intelligence has anything to do with the takeover of Mars. Pretty dang positive that the whole Mars story is going to take place in the siege, because if it doesn't, I'm going to be like, what what a bomb that was dropped. So
no one cares about Mars.
Like they're like, yeah, it gets taken back at some point. The artificial intelligence thing. So it would be cool to have like a whole nother layer of artificial intelligence being a problem, not only for the traders, but maybe even the loyalists. Like, oh, we took over Mars and now we have an artificial intelligence. And all of a sudden, like the lawyers are like, well, we gotta fucking take that thing out too.
Oh, that is like illegal.
That's not okay. We gotta put a pause, Horace. Can we call him up? Can we pause this battle? We gotta take care of some AI. So yeah, basically, entire story of this. Some rebel forces on Mars. When we say rebel, we mean the good kind of rebel, like the Star Wars version of rebel. They meet up with this artificial intelligence and they go together to start beating up some dark mechanic.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's okay. It wasn't that great.
No, it's not a strong opener.
Was a follow-up of one of the worst short stories, I felt like, the Raven Guard tech priest or tech marine.
God, yeah.
Oh, it's pretty rough.
All right,
what do we have next?
We have The Grey Raven by Sir Gav Thorpe.
Is this the one about the... Yeah, this is the one about the librarian getting chased down by the custodian.
My God, what the fuck was this story? So this is the
story makes no sense.
Yeah, this is the Raven Guard librarian sent from Korax. And they get to Terra, kind of. They're in space, and the custodes are like, yo, who are you? And then they say like one random word, and the custodian on board with the Raven Guard just starts fucking like attacking
the Raven Guard librarian. Yeah, so keep in mind the Korax sent basically the custodian that was with Corvus Corax and the Imperial Fist that was with Corvus Corax back. It sent the librarian back. And the weirdest decision, but Corax was in a weird headspace then. He made a lot of weird decisions. he was like, go back and ask if it's okay to be a psyker now. It's really what he said.
Shit's hitting the fan, and I don't know what to do with you, so go ask that.
Exactly. And the custodian and the librarian and the Imperial Fist, like they're all bros.
Yeah.
And the other custodian says some word, and the custodian on board's like, I gotta kill this Raven Guard. So he starts trying to kill the Raven Guard.
Yep, and it ends up killing the Imperial Fist, and the Raven Guard ends up being taken to Malcador. He's like, you passed the test.
Yeah, the whole thing was a test to see if the librarian would use his powers in a effort to save his own life, and he didn't. So the custodians were like, good job. But I'm like, what the fuck was all that?
Yeah, fucking stupid.
If you look at all the historical recruitment of the Knight Errants, most of the time, Malcolm was like, please.
Yeah, come on, do it.
Please
thank fucking God.
He tracked down a Night Lord that was a librarian on Terra that escaped, that fully admitted to hating the Emperor.
Yeah,
and
like, you'll do.
It's like, yeah, you're fine. This guy, they got to kill an Imperial Fist, hunt him down, make him go through some crazy freaking trial, and none of this makes any sense. Because first off, a custodian killing an Imperial Fist, that cause some that would cause some problems. And you're telling me Dorn doesn't find out about this, and then you have an entire ship full of Imperial Fists coming back. You don't think that one of them's gonna be like, oh yeah, our captain that you sent to Corax, yeah, the custodian killed him.
Yeah.
That'd be a fucking problem.
You would think. Or maybe Dorn just has too many problems right now.
It's like, yeah, they do it every weekend. They're really weird.
They're really upset that there's like not that many custodes, so they just keep killing my guys.
They call it blood games, but I really feel like we're being targeted.
It's just some bullshit. I think they're racist towards us.
some profiling going on. So just a really weird story. I just think that the whole custodian chase down the Raven Guard completely not needed.
Yeah, agreed. So next one is Valerius by Gav. I'm pretty sure this is the one that is the the vice admiral or whatever the hell that Corax sent to Beta Gammon. And this one was like, okay, you have them on Beta Gammon fighting the traitors, and the vice, whatever he is now, is like super religious now. He's like, you know what? The Emperor like put us here for all this to happen for a reason. So like, let's blow ourselves up. I was like, all right.
Yeah, and it basically goes from like this guy was clearly religious. He was a part of the what you would call it, like the whole church, and he went from like I'm religious to like I'm religious. Like it's a thing.
I mean, I think that's what happens to a lot of people when like death is imminent, right? Like,
yeah,
that's what you normally turn to in hopes of something that for an afterlife.
Well, this short story points out something that is a big theme of 40K, where like he's about to go into like overwhelming odds, right? And he's in his room, and he's like praying. He's like, yeah, the Emperor's not giving me anything. And the guy, his assistant's like, look, like you're kind of using the Emperor as like a guideline. Like if you're really religious, like maybe you don't call him every week. Like maybe you have to figure some shit out,
Yeah.
He didn't like that. He went to war anyway and apparently survived. We think it's him. I have a theory that it might be his assistant.
I honestly think it would be cooler if it was his assistant, because his assistant went through a lot of shit. And he
he's a little bit more intelligent, I think.
Yeah.
But who knows? I think Warhammer oftentimes favors the pious.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll never find out.
Yeah, we'll
I'm
never
assuming
hear
that's
about
the
this
end of that
again.
storyline.
Well, it's in Beta Gammon.
Yeah, but are we going to and like randomly during Titan Death? It's like, oh yeah, we found this guy who is suffering from amnesia.
Yeah, if you have to do like this holy amnesia storyline, like who is this guy? And the reader's like, yeah, I know. I just read the short story like
Yeah.
a book ago. So that's that one. It's okay.
Yeah. Next
The
we
Ember
have
Wolves.
the
I
Ember
hated
Wolves.
this one.
Which one was
was
this
awful.
one?
It was about the Warhound Titans that took down the big
Oh my
Titan.
god, this was painful.
It was
Like
so bad.
I did not need this story.
Yeah.
You know what was better? The story Betrayer that I complained about. Like
Yeah,
the one like minus point of Betrayer was the Titan battle. And here I get a different
is it the same one?
I don't think it's the same one, but man, it's written off as similar. It's like I think this might have been plagiarized.
By ADP. Wait a minute. Yeah, so it's basically all the Titans and from that group that was in Betrayer. It might be the same story. But basically, they take down a big Titan and then they betray each other and they all die. That's the story.
Yeah, thank God I read that.
Like, there's no, like, we get nothing from this.
No, it was
There's
so
no,
stupid.
nothing comes out of this. No characters. We get introduced to characters, and then 10 pages later, they're all dead.
Yeah.
All right. Black Shield. So this one is weird. So there's an entire Black Shield series. So this is the one about the Death Guard, who you find out in the end are loyalists. Well, they're not really loyalists.
Oh,
they
they're
just
the
don't.
ones like the black armor.
Yeah. So like, you have a group of Death Guard that escaped Mortarion after. Now this was kind of funny. It was after Vengeful Spirit Moloch.
Yeah.
When Mortarion just cuts all of his like guards in half. Remember, like we had like the whole comms, like, where's he getting these guys? You just got like they're supposed to be like the 7 best like people in the Legion. He's like, yeah, whatever. Just cuts them all in half. Yeah, it's like, oh, I'll get new ones, you know. Well, here's a Death Shroud guy that was like, yeah, that wasn't cool with me. Like, I didn't realize that we could just be walking around and get cut in half by this dude at any point in time.
Yeah, that and like the fucking like plague thing that he created. He was like, dude, that was fucked up. Like, we're supposed to like not like Psychers, and like I'm pretty sure he's trying to fuck that ghost thing.
Tyrion's getting real close to Fulgrim level awkwardness.
Things are getting weird.
And it's a little weirder too, because they don't look as pretty.
They're so ugly.
What's so crazy about this character is like he escaped, but he also perpetrated in like Isfahan.
Yeah.
So he was like, whoa, summoning a demon to destroy a world with plague, fucked up. Destroying a world with plague missiles, okay.
Look, one of those you can control.
Yeah. So he's getting attacked by a group. They kill a bunch of them, but they're an unidentified group. And at the end, he's the last survivor. But then, like, the leader of the group that's attacking, I'm like, it's like, oh my gosh, you're a Death Guard. You're a Death Shroud. I'm like, okay, well, like, why didn't they stop like earlier? You know, I don't understand.
Yeah, what I would think.
Yeah, so they stopped at the very end. He's the last survivor. He's like, yeah, I'm a survivor from Isfahan 3, which is like, what?
Yeah.
How many of you motherfuckers survived?
Yeah.
Isn't there like a character? Isn't R'hllor like supposed to be an Emperor's Children?
That's
Dreadnought.
a 40K storyline, apparently.
Okay, so he survives Isfahan 3 too. Yep. Who knows? So like this whole group's like, yeah, we survived Isfahan 3. So we're for the Emperor.
And then they only found fucking Loken, who was apparently not Loken. He was Cerebus, and then he became Loken again.
Yeah, and like
they did not do a very good job searching.
A bunch of survivors.
Like a whole group of Astartes are like, please, we've been betrayed. Like, have Have you heard that guy talking to himself? Because that's actually who we're here for.
We go by the name Black Shield. I'm like, why don't you just go home? Like go to the Emperor. Like there's a whole story arc about people that did that. I don't know. I thought that was weird. So it gets revealed as Black Shield, and the whole concept of this is like the end, the Death Guard Terminator kind of suicides it. And as the Death Guard are leaving, they're like having this thought of, oh, the lines of loyalty are so blurred. Who knows like who's who? So like this is basically trying to sell us on the idea that like everyone's a traitor, which is like, yeah, we know. Like everyone sucks. I'm not an Emperor fan either. Apparently this whole series, there's a whole series of Black Shield.
Yeah, to be honest, don't think I'd read it.
If you look to the beginning of the book where it lists all the novels, you have they're audio dramas. Black Shields, The False War, Black Shields, The Red Reef, Black Shields, The Broken Chain.
Cool. Not gonna listen to them.
Yeah. I hate that the audio dramas exist without being in written text. That's so frustrating. All right, so that was Black Shield.
Yep. Next we have Children of Zakaros, which is the core Farion story.
Yeah.
This was okay.
It's all right. I don't know what I was supposed to get out of it. It was after the greatest battle that ever existed.
Yep. And core Farion's still fucked up.
Yeah, he is chilling with demons, but he just kills everything. Like every time, like there's like a demon or somebody trying to make a pact with him, he's like, "Oh yeah, just kidding." Like you'd think after a couple times somebody'd be like, I'm not gonna fuck with that. So he ends up on a demon world with a bunch of world bird bears, and he takes it over.
Yeah, he's gonna make it the new Colchis. Is that what their planet was called?
Colchis, yeah, because I think the whole concept is the lions tearing through that, really eating that shit up.
You know, I'm like thinking like, is the lion or going to all these like homeworlds really worth not being at Terra?
All right, I think it is. We don't have to read about him anymore. This is the most useful thing he's ever done.
For enjoyability, yes. Strategically, though, like
I just want to read a story of the lion like going to all these homeworlds, and then he arrives at Nostromo, and he's like, "Oh fuck, I'm an idiot."
Oh yeah,
Doris already did this for me.
Rabo did the same thing to his place, right?
Yeah, his shit's all blown up too.
So he's only going to Colchis, Sithonia.
Magnus's world's blown up by leaving us.
Yeah, Prospero's fucking gone.
It's gone. It's donezo. We have Colchis. Does anyone even live on I mean Angron killed everyone at his home planet.
Yeah.
That was the entire storyline of Betrayer. Like he went through and slaughtered his whole home planet.
He's actually wasting time.
Yeah. When you think about all the different planets that are alive to the Traitor Legions, is it just 2?
Sithonia, Colchis.
No, Chemos. Which is Fulgrim's.
Barbarous even around still?
That's a thing. Like, is I don't think Barbarous is like.
I doubt that they're getting recruits from Barbarous.
Inhabited. It might be 4 planets. And I'm pretty positive.
Well, there's also still fucking shit. What's it called? Shit, what's the lion's home planet?
Caliban.
Yeah, well, Caliban's also full of traitors too. So
yeah, like
maybe you should go home first.
Go home. You're gonna be just as good at home. It's like, all right, guys, we're we're ready for the siege. I'm here to aid. What should I do? Go home.
Like, can you imagine like he like shows up like Sithonia and there's like literally no one there. It's just an empty planet because all the Astartes are going to fucking Terra. I'm like, huh. I guess you aren't even getting supplies from here. All
I
right.
can't even imagine that, like, what he's doing. Because I know Cathonia is not a place that he goes to, I feel like. I think Cathonia gets handled some other place. So literally you got Chemos, Barbarous, and the word bearer's place.
Yeah, Colchis.
Yeah. Those 3 planets are the only ones that the traders came from that are currently harboring life. And I'm just really
doing
curious.
the Lord's work.
Yeah, like is he just gonna go to those 3 planets? Like, most of them probably. I doubt Fulgrim gives a fuck about Chemos.
And also, he has a fucking teleporter. He could literally show up, bomb it, teleport, bomb. Maybe not even teleport again and just teleport fucking
so
Terra.
fast. There's
Instead,
a lot of
he doesn't even make it to Terra, I'm pretty sure.
plot holes there. I mean, if you think about it, we're pretty sure that if we take all the planets, if he does destroy Chemos and Colchis, like that puts him at a net 0 because he lost Caliban and blew up half of McCrag. So
also, Colchis, fucking the word bearers got kicked out of Horus's group, or at least fucking Lorgar did. So what's the point of going there?
Yeah, they've probably killed themselves already.
Yeah, they're like, oh,
if
the
I was
lion's
betting,
coming. Hold on, let's all sacrifice ourselves real quick.
does anyone? I don't even think Alfarius has a planet.
Alfarius
I don't
is
think
just
that.
Alfarius.
Yeah, so he's not going to mess up. I'm quite. What is the lion doing, guys? Can we get an understanding?
Yeah, I
like,
need to actually know the strategic importance of this because I'm pretty sure he actually accomplishes his 0 things not being at Terra.
Because we like the authors wrote it like, yeah, he's going to go fuck up some traders' home planets. It's like they didn't read the fact that the traders already fucked up their home planets.
Yeah, so that's an interesting one. I didn't even like think about that till just now.
Yeah, wait a minute. What is he doing? They're already destroyed. Okay. Exocytosis.
This
Which
is
one is
the
this one?
typhus story.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like this one.
Why?
So this is so it makes me think of like it put me in like the mind of like someone infected by chaos. So just
Typhus doesn't see it.
yes, Typhus doesn't see like all this weird shit that's happening, whereas you have the Dark Angel. So quick synopsis: this is where Typhus got intercepted by Luther and was like, "Hey, we'll help you out." They actually home them at like a town, basically, and Typhus is just sitting there getting more and more infected, and like a bunch of cultists show up, and he's talking to them, and then you have a dark angel who was suspicious and was like sneaking through the woods and saw these like really fucked up like monster cultist things and started killing them. And like in Typhus's mind, he doesn't even see, like, he just sees like normal people talking to him. And that was kind of, it makes me curious if they're all like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's just like the Nurgle ones because they're like really fucking ugly. That they're like, yeah, here, let's like pretend like this isn't that bad.
Nurgle's like, there's only one way I can make this work for me. Yeah. So the problem that I have with this book or this short story is like I was very pumped to see the Fallen play a role in the rest of the heresy and their storyline not be abandoned. At the end of Angels of Caliban, it makes it clear that Luther is going to seek out Typhus and maybe do some battle with Cor Swain. And it made it clear at the end of the Scars book, the second one, Path to Heaven, that Mortarion was on his way to find Typhus. So I'm like, awesome, it's all going to be tied together. And now it's like, no. So at the end of Angels of Caliban, Luther went to go find Typhus, and then in this quick short story, Typhus fucked off. So
although, you know, I don't get name changes in Warhammer. Like right now, his name is Typhon, and like the cultists call him Typhus, and he's like, "My name's Typhon." And you're like, "For now." I'm like, what?
Okay.
I have decided my name is Typhus.
There's got to be that's some sort of plague, isn't it? Like Typhon. Typhus is like, I don't know. I'm sure there's some sort of like etymology reason, some sort of like disease.
I don't know. Maybe it's like one of those things like, oh, well, he kind of becomes a demon. You can't know the demon's name. And everyone's like, Typhon's like, no, you control me.
Why'd you make it so close? You go to the world. You just changed two letters.
I didn't want to forget.
I want to strangle my own name. Oh wow, Typhon to Typhus. Who would have guessed? Wow. So yes, that is exocytosis. Then we have the painted count. I love the Night Lords.
This is my second favorite story.
Night Lords are so much fun to read about.
They are just fucking crazy, and I love it.
So painted count is the main character is Scrivok, who was the main Night Lord in Pharaohs.
And you know how we know Night Lords are good? We always know the fucking main characters' names.
Yeah, Jendor Scrivok.
This is a fucking short story, and we remember a Night Lord's name.
Fucking awesome. Yeah. He kind of, I just love how backstabby the Night Lords are. So he's got this sword, and I love the story of this sword. Like, he summons the sword in Pharaohs by murdering his librarian. And as the sword gets summoned, he's like, that shit's pretty fucked up. Hey, I got a sword for you. It's a gift. He gives his like ship captain. I don't even remember his name. I want to say it's Kutar, Kantar, or something like that. One of the twins. Yep. He's like, I got you a gift. What a fucking Night Lord thing to do. Yep. So that guy turns into a demon. And what I think is like the best Chaos Night Lord relationship ever, right? Like, this is the relationship with Night Lords and Chaos. The sword appears to Scrivok at the end of Pharaohs. And Scrivok's like, fuck. So it's like Chaos is like, I'm not letting you get away. And the Night Lords don't really want it, but they kind of are just fucking around the whole time anyway. Yep. And they just kind of end up falling into that situation and try to scheme their way out of it by fucking other people over. And it's great.
And normally they're other Night Lords.
It's almost always other Night Lords.
Because don't forget, I mean, these guys are like fucking like gangsters.
They hate each other.
Yeah.
They're literally like in these little squads walking around trying to beat each other up.
Yep.
So he's having like dreams about the sword, whatever. He won't touch it. But he is the leader because he killed the last leader, which is a very Night Lord thing to do.
Yep.
He's like, I mean, I fucking killed the guy, so unless you kill me, then I'm in charge.
Yeah, so they're gonna they try to have like a diplomatic thing, and they're like, no,
it's hilarious. So funny. They try to have like a whole voting system.
This ain't a fucking democracy. We're Night Lords.
You want to vote? What is this, Terra?
Some pussy shit.
Conrad Kurz blew up Nostromo because they were using too much energy. We're gonna vote on who's the leader. And at one point, you know, I remember like the captain had like a sidekick, and the sidekick was like, why don't you, as a show of authority, sleep in Conrad Kurz's room? And he was like, fuck that. That guy is fucked up.
Man, there's still like fucking bodies in it, and that shit's weird and it stinks.
No way. So he tries to get rid of the sword by like literally throwing it into space. He gets kidnapped by Conrad Kurz's Equerry, which has got to be the craziest title and position to have in all the Imperium. And he gets thrown into the maze that Vulcan was in, which was really cool.
Yeah, I really like the scene. He's like wandering through. He's fucking in the back at the same spot, and then he finds the sword there, and he's like, "You fucking get me out of here."
Yeah, the sword gets him out. He goes to the it's so funny. He goes to the democracy vote, kills the guard, and he goes in there, is like, we're not voting, I'm leader. And one of the guys is like, what kind of person? What kind of what kind of person kills the guard of the meeting where he gets to be leader? And I'm like, really?
Probably the Night Lords.
Probably a Night Lord.
I mean, why would you even have a starters there? Like, just put a couple fucking humans there, honestly. Like,
Yeah,
you know
why
they're
put
gonna
a
die.
guard? Why put a guard? And then there's just so ridiculous. So he becomes the new leader. He kills the other guy's like, literally Scribe the whole time is like, listen, I'm leader unless you kill me. Are you gonna kill me? And the guy's like, no, like we gotta vote. He's like, no, like you didn't hear what I just said. Like, I don't give a shit what you guys do with your fingers or hands with voting. I'm leader unless you kill me. So he's like, fine, I guess I'll kill you. Scribach murders this guy like instantly in a hilarious fashion.
The best part about this is, right? You know what the sword does? It gives him Sevatar Psyker power.
That's pretty much what it is.
That's how fucking OP Sevatar is. That a fucking demonic sword has to be used to copy his power.
It's so frustrating. I've kind of noticed that it feels like a lot of characters are kind of being replaced with new age characters. Like they wrote the original characters in the beginning of the heresy. Like I feel like Scribach should be Sevatar. Like they should have written it like that, in my opinion.
Sevatar wouldn't want to be a leader though. He'd be like, "Oh, you guys are gonna vote? Please do not fucking vote for me."
What is it that Sevatar did though? Weren't they trying to like make him not leader at one point, and he just walks in the room and murders all of them? Wasn't that like the beginning of
that
Prince
was
of
like
Crows?
the for like his like entourage, like his company or whatever, and he's like, "Man, you guys are." He's like one of those like things where he's like, "Man, I don't want to be the leader, but all you other fuckers suck." So I'm
exactly. I feel like Sevatar would kill. I feel like Sevatar would make a good Scribach. The only problem with that story is Scribach originally was kind of like a little bitch to another guy.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have flown with Sevatar. But yeah, this was it was a really good story. At the end, Skybox like, we're gonna head to the War Master. But they're like, oh, Sevatar's alive, Conrad Kerr's alive. And he's like, so? Like Conrad Kurz would be disappointed if we found him right
now. Yeah.
Like, let's go fight people on Terra because that sounds like fun. The last son of Prospero.
Could have dealt without the story.
I'm interested.
Actually, no, I like the story. I did actually like this one.
What's the deal with this?
So, Ianus eventually.
His name is definitely not Ianus.
Dude, that's how it's spelled. His name's Ianus.
It's not Ianus, it's Arvita.
No, but it changes at the end. He takes a different name at the end. Yes. Read the fucking last sentence. God damn it. It becomes Ianus.
Ianus.
Which will turn into Janus later. So this.
Yeah, I would change my name too if it was Ianus.
So this story is the
call me Ianus
of Arvita, who
that's what the last sentence is.
I told you that's his fucking name now.
I just wish there was one more line where it just says, and Malchazor replied, no, I'm not gonna call you that.
I mean, maybe we're pronouncing it wrong because we're stupid Americans, but it's spelled Ianus.
Ianius. Ianius. There's an
it changes there. Later on, it becomes Janus. That's all I know. But
or is it Janus?
Anyway, this follows the story of Arvita, the White Scar, or no, the Thousand Son hanging out with the White Scars, who was there when Yasugi sacrificed himself, like helped like get them there, and the Khan considers him his warden.
Yeah, because he helped them get to Terra. I'm sorry, I just can't stop laughing about this whole concept for like literally Malcador or Magnus has just possessed one of his own sons. This crazy moment, and he's like, "Call me Ianus," and Malcador's just like, "I'm not gonna call you that, but I'm glad you're here."
So, as we remember, he's going through the flesh change, and Malcador picks him up and takes him away. So this is Malcador taken away. He's in this like fucking like chamber being experimented on, and he's having like dreams where he's talking to Magnus. And from my understanding, it seems like Arvida and Magnus combined, like one of the last shard of Magnus, because all the other shards are. Apparently, the only good.
Where did they
shard...
put the shard?
Yeah, this isn't a Fulgrim story.
I do a lot with shards and anuses in this series.
I don't get the obsession, but hey, whatever.
Whatever works.
But he's like, there's like this internal turmoil where he's talking to Magnus, and like on the outside, like everything's going fucking haywire. The Khan shows up, threatens to kill Malcador. Malcador's like, "Oh, you're too late." And then fucking Arvida Aeanus just kind of comes up, fuck shit up, like fucking launches Malcador. Malcador is always getting fucking shit kicked out of him every time he sees that poor fucking old man.
That was probably worse than getting slapped by Lorgar.
Probably hurt a lot more. And at the end,
they have a shard of Magnus.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be the last shard of Magnus.
This is confusing to me a little bit because throughout the story, it almost seemed like he was possessed by his tutelary. Like Magnus keeps coming up with his, like talking to him about his like demon sidekick. He's like, "Where is he? Where is he? Oh, he's coming, yada, yada, yada." So it was confusing to me because I didn't pick up very easily on the fact that Magnus fused into him until they were like, he looks exactly like Magnus, but also Arvida, so we will call him Ianus.
No, he calls himself Ianus.
Yeah, we're not calling him Ianus.
Interesting thing in this is there's someone that's like with Malcador doing this. I don't remember who it was, but
it's the Ultramarine from the Garo books.
Okay, he's like disgusted that they use sorcery to stop the flesh change, like to begin with. And Malcador was like literally like, "Bro, we use sorcery to do fucking everything. Like, shut the fuck up."
I just killed an Imperial fist like last week. Just so I can get a sorcerer to do shit. He got the two custodian guards out. We killed one like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, so spoiler alert, this guy, Ianus, is the very first chapter master of the Grey Knights.
Oh, well, that's kind of cool. A cool little story. All right. Soul Severed by Chris Wright. Chris Wright went to town in this book. He wrote 4 short stories.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty good. The Soul Severed. So this one I could have done without. It's about Eidolon. Eidolon fights another Emperor's Children captain with his mouth. As Eidolon, as Eidolon normally does. That's it. Like, there's nothing interesting about this story, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think like reading it, like I didn't hate it. It was fine.
It's really short. Like when stories are really short, they're hard to like hate unless they're about robotic bugs. What was the one that Graham did about the Mechanicum praying mantis?
Oh, I mean, I don't fucking remember.
You don't remember the one?
I know. I remember the praying mantis. I don't know
remember the name.
Yeah.
Well, he wrote like a 2-page short story, and we were like, "What?" About a praying mantis eating.
Yeah, there's a Forge World model of it apparently.
Yeah, it's a cool looking model, but I'm like, what is
This
What
Praying
is
Mantis
this?
series.
Why did they, out of all the audio dramas, they were like, this one, let's get that in the print format. Dark Compliance. I didn't like this one. It was so long and useless because I mean, Malcador is alive. Basically, the entire premise of the story is Horus is promoting Argonis. Argonis has gotten promotion after promotion. Argonis is going through the ranks. Yeah. Basically, Argonis is now Horus's herald. So the herald, well,
he was promoted to Equerry before because Malahorst is still alive in the story.
Yeah, so currently right now, he's like at the beginning of the story. So 5 years ago.
Is it 5?
He was just like a lineman. Then he got promoted to like fighter in the plains. And then he got in Talarn, he was like a messenger. He what is he called? He's called the what is it he called? He's like Horus's voice. Is he
Horus's bitch?
He was definitely Horus's bitch. I think this might have been before Talarn, because I think he was a herald for Horus when he went to go.
And I think this is post. Maybe it's not post Talarn.
Because he would have been.
No, I think he went to Talarn because
right?
it talks about how he did a good job at Talarn.
Okay, so he got promoted to like Horus's like.
He's joined the entourage without being mournable.
Yeah, so in Talarn, what would you call them in Talarn? Like, what is that position?
Bitch.
Oh, okay. They're all Horus's bitches, but what is his like?
I don't remember what the fuck the official title was. It was something stupid.
He was like
administrative
his
assistant.
Voice. Yeah, he was like his voice. Like he was supposed to like represent Horus. And then he now was promoted again to herald, and then we know later he gets promoted to equerry. So this dude has been flying through the ranks.
He knows how to suck a good dick.
Yeah, Horus is like, I gotta keep this guy around. So he basically, the whole point of the story is he's trying to bring a world into compliance by telling a story. And if I was whoever it was that this guy,
this is John French that wrote the story, and I'm like, why did you do that, John?
Like imagine Argonis, like you're in a court, right? You're like the leader of a planet, and Argonis is like, let me tell you a story. So then Horus and his fighter force here, but there was a secret fighter force over here, and they were coming in around. I've been like, dude, what the fuck are you talking
about? Then he
about?
squeezed the ball, and a demon came out and killed everybody.
Dude, we are definitely not going to side with these guys. This guy's fucking nuts. So they hid the forces on the planes, and there was a knight with there. His name was, I don't remember his name, but he was in the plane next to another guy. They were in behind the moon, and that was the secret force number 2. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
You know what I wish the story would have been? I wish this would have been a follow-up of that one story where the guy like went through like his like past self of as being a soldier. Like he met Horus that one time, and like he like had that first shot that like says like we're not like joining these guys. Like
great
that would have been a cool follow-up.
Yeah, because it was from the perspective.
We got a random story of a story.
It was a story of a story. And I can only imagine like how well Argonis articulated this story. Like,
and bam, 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 bam.
I can only imagine like there's gotta be so many times it's like, wait, let me back up. Because that might be
Wait, so like he crushed a ball in his hand and a demon came out? Oh no. It's not like any ball, all right?
So
like
the demon
it's red. And it's a crystal.
And then there was a red demon. He had red wings.
Well, like
it was like big.
The crystal
really
was
big.
It was like this big, but it sprouted like a guy like this big.
He was like as big as a Titan, which I know is confusing because we have so many different measurements for them. But just think about that. And I just think that this was it was kind of funny of a story, a bit of a not needed.
Yeah.
Duty awaits. Okay, so after this story, it all tends to focus on Terra, and it all tends to focus on the Imperial Fists and Rogal Dorn. And at first, I was like, "This is going to be awful," but I actually really liked all of these stories, minus a couple important pieces that they kept leaving out.
Is Vulcan one?
It's Vulcan.
I can't. I'm imagining like it's like we're gonna be in the middle of the siege, and it's gonna be like a surprise, motherfucker. It's just Vulcan.
Vulcan does get mentioned in this book one time. He gets mentioned like at the very end, and we'll talk about it. But literally, Malkador's like, "Yeah, Vulcan's here." That's literally all that happens. But the rest of the story is like refused to acknowledge that Old Earth even existed. So much so that there was another timeline inconsistency in one of these stories.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Duty awaits. So Duty awaits is about.
This is the one with the riot. Yeah.
Oh, okay. This one killed me. What did Vulcan tell his 3 salamanders to do when he went into the throne room?
Apparently, it was to fuck off.
Apparently, because I remember it being watch over the people.
You misremember, man. He's fucking off.
Prevent riots. But apparently they took that as I'm gonna go on a world tour. I'm gonna go check out the palace. I'm gonna take some days off, drink some salamander tea, like however the fuck, whatever they do on vacation, that's what they're doing. Because when I think of who's best equipped to handle riots of humans, salamanders come to my mind. Vulcan said, do that. And here we get Imperial Fists, like fucking mow them down.
Yeah. Yeah. So the story is a civilian riot because they didn't get food that day.
That would suck.
Yeah, it would suck, especially since they're already being rationed. And literally, they're like, "All right, well, you guys are pissing us off. You're getting too much." So everyone fires fucking 4 bullets apparently.
Yeah, 4 bullets.
But
there's 20 there.
Bolters that just blows them up apparently.
What they say, 1,000 people?
Something like that. It was fucking stupid.
1,000 people. 4 bolter shots. That's impressive. That's crazy. Yeah. He estimates over 1,000 dead. Whoa.
I mean, depending on how many Imperial Fists there are, I guess, but I wonder like how many people. All right, so 20 times 4 is what, 2,000?
Yeah, because I remember reading this.
No, I don't math. It's like 800.
20 times 4?
It's 800.
It's 80.
Oh, fuck, it's 80. I don't know why I was
saying.
What
is that, 400? No, not 400. It's like 200. Like, oh my God.
Man, it was a long day of work.
Yeah, 80 bullets. 1,000 people.
You know, what caliber is a fucking bolter?
It's a big caliber. I'll say
and
that.
It explodes.
But how many people would each bullet have to kill? 80 bullets. Let's find out. I got this.
Probably get some live action.
I can see it. 12 and a half people.
A bullet?
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking deaths for a bullet, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, okay, so you can imagine it like goes through how many people? I don't know.
I mean, just like
they're all dead too. None of them are injured,
they're dead for sure. But like,
which is weird to me because like if a bullet's going to travel through multiple bodies, like
it's
I don't
slow
think
down.
And you can't guarantee a kill shot on each person that it goes through. Like they're good at shooting, but they're not like twisting the bullet. Like,
make the bullets like that touches them, they explode. Apparently,
yeah. So all these guys are
only the bodies explode, not the bullets though. Until the bullet's done, I don't know. I don't know bolter math, but
it's a lot of death.
Yeah,
12 and a half people per bullet that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot. I don't know. I don't know about that.
That's like on Mythbusters.
So first thing we need to do is invent the Imperial Bolter. Okay. So that one was a thing. It was really good. It was really well written though. Like I think Guy Haley did a good job. It kind of like introduces you to a few like random Imperial fists, and the way it talks about them is like really interesting because it's like in 6 months' time, this person will be dead. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like,
yeah,
I like that part. Not that I like that they died, but like the writing style was good. Magisterium, another Chris Wright. Great.
I didn't really care for this one because I didn't
I like
care.
this one. I like Valdor.
My favorite thing about this was when he watches fucking Lehman Russ just on the back of a fucking tank swinging his axe, and he's like, "What the fuck is that guy doing?"
Valdor. This is actually, I think this story might be my favorite of the entire book because you get you get Rogel Dorn like talking to Valdor.
Midnight's my favorite.
Which one?
Now Peel's Midnight.
It's very good, but I like this one a lot because you get this whole concept like Rogel Dorn corners Valdor and is like, see, why didn't you question it? Why did you even go in there? Why didn't you question the Emperor? This is your problem. You will never question the Emperor. It's such the custodian's problem. And you get this thing with Valdor where he's like, I fucking hate Primarchs. And he starts having like these like visions of like the times that he spent with Lehman Russ. He was like, that guy's an idiot. That guy's an absolute idiot. And now you got Dorn yelling at him, and Valdor's like he's getting chewed out basically by Primarchs. And Valdor's like, please.
But I was like, what Dorn says like makes sense though. I mean, he's telling him like, look, like you have lost so many fucking people in this stupid web wave battle. Like, I can't use you.
Yeah,
to defend.
You're absolutely right. But then like Valdor's response is equally correct. Where he's like, yeah, maybe I should have questioned the Emperor when he made you guys, because then we wouldn't really be here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what if he just made a fuck ton more custodes?
Yeah, he's like, why did we even need you? Maybe that's what I should have questioned the Emperor on. And like he's talking to his like second in command the whole time. You just see Valdor just like, I fucking hate Primarchs. Like, God, they're so fucking annoying. So I like this one. I do, however, dislike that it did present a timeline inconsistency. Yeah. One that already kind of existed. Did you notice this?
Was this the one with is it the Khan that shows up in this one? But Lehman Russ has already left.
Yeah, so basically it says like the battle for the Webblade's done.
Yeah.
And Valdor, like months later, is like, oh, we're waiting for the Khan to arrive in system. Huge timeline inconsistency. Because we know that Vulcan arrives on Terra at the exact same time, like literally simultaneously as the battle in the Webway ends. He fights a demon of Nurgle as the Webway is closing. And then he appears outside the wall.
Yep.
He then talks to Dorn, who says that the only other Primarch there is the Khan, which we already know doesn't make any sense because there's no point in time where the Khan and Dorn are the only two Primarchs on Terra. Yeah. So already doesn't make sense. But now you're saying that the Khan shows up 6 months after the Battle of Webway, when Dorn told us earlier that Khan was there at the end of the Battle of Webway. What?
Yeah. Honestly, the whole like, especially all this like pisses me off so much because a lot of it's like the Emperor stay on his throne to make sure this gate stays shut. I'm just like, just fucking blow up the gate. Why are we wasting fucking the Emperor's power?
Yeah, forget about
it. Doesn't fucking matter anyway. There's gates everywhere apparently. Fuck the one on Terra. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, the whole gate thing is very strange to me because it talks about how like basically people are saying the gate can't be shut and it's forever being flooded by demons, which doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about all of the other gates that we've encountered so far. And on top of that, you know, the concept that demons are continuously flooding this gate completely destroys the concept of the webway and the fact that Dark Eldar are still alive.
Yeah.
That's
fucking stupid.
Really weird on how all that process works. I think I've had it explained to me like 3 times, but every time I get an explanation, I'm like, kind of a stretch. Like you're kind of making the reader fill in a lot of
it's one of those we made the Emperor like way too fucking powerful, so we have to make him not be at the battle.
Yeah, exactly. So now we have Now Peel's Midnight, which I have read this entire time is Now Pearl's Midnight, because I think that makes more sense. But it's Peel's.
Yeah, it's Peel's.
Is Pearl like something Pearl's Midnight? Isn't that like a thing?
No, you just made that up.
Did I make it? I feel like that's why I read it that way.
No, I think you're dyslexic.
I've made it this far.
This makes a lot of fucking sense now that I think about it.
Oh, shit. So yeah, you talk about this one.
Yeah, so first off, I want to say this. I really, really, really like this story. It does such a good job of setting the tone of Terra. And
it would be great if the siege started this way. It would be awesome.
Yeah. I really wish I read this right before the siege. So what this does is it is the signal that Horus is here. And it talks about how they spent several years, preparing for this moment. And I think it really comes down to one of those things you can prepare over and over again, but you're never truly ready. Right?
Yeah.
Say a natural disaster happens, you probably have some sort of protection
plan in place.
If a tornado's coming through my house, I'm gonna go to the basement. Now in the heat of the moment, if there's a fucking tornado hitting my house, is my first thought, holy shit, it's a good thing I have a basement, or is it holy fuck, that was nuts.
I wish my basement was deeper.
Yeah. And
yeah,
you have Dorn he gets this information that Horus is gonna be there in
system
2 hours, and he's like, well, you humans are gonna take
such
a nap.
Great setup. I really hope they start it this way, because he literally tells them to take a nap. I love that.
Yeah, because the whole thing, it's super ominous. It's very,
that's my favorite part. All the system goes quiet. It's almost like Horus's arrival, and that's why I kind of like the Warhammer universe a little bit, because they can do shit like that, because it's the warp, Horus's arrival quiets the whole system. So one of the things Dorn immediately senses is the fact that there's no more rebellions, there's no more riots, all of these other issues, everything's done. No one's trying to take off from Mars, and they've been dealing with that forever, constantly. It all stops. And there's just a long moment of nothing on the radar.
Yep. And his astropath comes and is like, Master Dorn, it's here. He's like, all right, well, let's tell the Khan and Sanguinius. And,
not Vulcan.
Yeah, Vulcan doesn't fucking
Don't
matter.
tell Vulcan. Fuck Vulcan. Tell the Khan and Sanguinius. Yeah. I hated that so much.
Yeah, I just laughed. Man, that's fucked up. And then they're like, should we tell Macador? And he's like, he should already know.
Yeah, he's already figured it out. He knew last week.
Yeah, and you have humans who are getting the signals quietly throughout the night. Civilians are already being moved, and you have the POV of civilians in a bunker, and they're like, oh, I wonder if this is just a another drill or whatever.
Routine. Yeah.
And it's just thinking being, I mean, it's crazy, right? Imagine living like that.
Yeah,
this is very World War II, right? Where
when they did
you're
the
waiting to be
London.
Invaded.
Yeah.
But you're maybe they won't actually invade us, but it finally happens. You're oh fuck. You're never the idea is there in your mind, but you're never actually ready for that moment.
Right. And what I like about this too is it goes through and describes how Dorn kind of had a plan for all this. He was going to start everything up without anyone knowing, kind of secretively And once everyone's in position, everything's ready to go, then the sirens start going off. And that's how the short story ends. And it was
you don't get the
so
Astra
fucking good.
Militarum going first. You have all the Astartes moving first. You have everyone like, okay, get to your positions. And everyone's like, well, what's happening? It's like,
you get a chill.
No.
You get a little chill.
Yeah.
Made me excited for the siege.
It's like one of those things where like, man, this would be like such a good fucking video. Just like, it just like hits everything, right? Like you're anxious, you're fucking, everything's ominous. Like, imagine like some like nice like deep music going on like as this is all happening. Just it's so fucking good.
I'd imagine like Rogel Dorn goes to meet Jagatai and Sanguinius, and I kind of imagine it raining like on top of a hill.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, well, this is it. But without Vulcan.
Yeah, without Vulcan. Although like it's one of those things too where like I could see them not even like talking, right? Like it's just like a meetup of like
just nod.
Just quiet understanding of like this is the moment. Like we've been preparing, but like I don't know if we're actually ready for this. Like,
yeah, big anxiety for sure.
It's fucking crazy.
So that was a good one. I agree. It definitely was one of my favorites, if not the favorite. I think, it wasn't my favorite though. Dreams of Unity.
This is not only is it like, it's just so fucking poorly placed. Like coming after that story, like.
Well, now we gotta go read
been last
about Beta Gammon.
Yeah, so like man, like it's such a hype to prepare for this siege, and then it's like, but what about these random Thunder Warriors that are still on Terra? I'm like,
random, not even the
what
one
I get.
You were right when we did the preview because neither of us had made it to the story, but not even the one from Outcast Dead. Like 3 completely random Thunder Warriors.
Yep.
Who have severe PTSD
and are gladiators.
Dude, this whole story kind of blows my mind too, because the story actually starts out with 4 of them. One of them dies as a gladiator. The other one goes on like a random killing spree during like a PTSD episode.
Yeah.
And then kills himself. And then the third one dies to a demon. All in one day. Like, what a day for the Thunder Warriors. They've made it hundreds of years. And then in the same day, all of them just get fucking annihilated for like different reasons.
Yeah, it was weird. I had a hard time following this story.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why we had this story, especially like following the fucking like one where I'm like, holy fuck, like let me read the siege right now. And then it's like Thunder Warrior on Terra, gladiators, one custode. It's awesome. I'm like, man, what the fuck?
The Thunder Warriors are a cool concept, but I don't think they were delivered well. And at the same time, too, like the idea of a Thunder Warrior, every time you see a Thunder Warrior or hear about a Thunder Warrior, it makes you really hate the Imperium.
Yeah.
So you're like, you kind of get reminded, oh, fuck. Like, so, I mean, that's fine to hate the Imperium. I think that's one of the main themes in the book, but it's like, I just read like this super hyped up siege thing, and now it's like, by the way, remember to hate the Imperium.
Yeah.
And all these Thunder Warriors die. So yeah, that was one of my least favorite ones by far. And then I get the last one. The board is set. Vulcan gets mentioned here.
Yeah. What
Algador,
card is he?
He is not. He is the Anvil.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, he gets mentioned as being at Terra in this book.
Probably like someone acknowledges it.
Yes, he has this like thing where he's like, out of all the Primarchs that are here, Vulcan, here it is, not Dorn, nor Vulcan, Sanguinius, nor Jagatai would be Horus. Vulcan was mentioned. Magdor acknowledges his existence on Terra. He is one of the 4 Primarchs that have made it. So they play a card game, which is incredibly symbolic of the Primarchs each of the cards are.
Yep.
I
Also,
had a hard time following.
Malcador is calling the Emperor the same name that they did in the last church.
Revelation, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that was interesting.
Ooh. Lends credence to that theory a little bit, huh?
Maybe.
I like that. And everyone's like, no, typically Malcador is a Sigilite from this area. It has been proven, which is like bullshit. Nothing's ever been proven about Malcador. Yeah, that would be cool to kind of read back to back. Like if you started, like I had my friends start the series with the Last Church, which I think is the best intro point. I think if you started with the Last Church, we'll get into this. But start with the Last Church and then read 90% of First Heretic. Imagine going from the Last Church right into Monarchia.
Yeah, I mean,
that's where it begins too. Yeah.
Sure.
So, yeah, the board is set. All these pieces represent, or cards represent, the Primarchs. It's a little frustrating sometimes trying to figure out which one is which.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's pretty good. It kind of hints at the Buried Dagger. The Buried Dagger is also something that occurs in this book or in this short story with the cards.
Oh. Yeah.
The corruption of Mortarion.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the story. I mean, it was cool. You have Malcador playing this game against the Emperor, where apparently they played a bunch of times, and it's War Master versus the Imperium.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what side Malcador's on, he loses every time. However, they never actually show the ending.
Yeah.
And
such a fucking Emperor thing to do.
Yeah, it gets to this point where I don't know if like Malcador's is like going through the motions, but the Emperor finally is like, you're not playing how you should. And he's like, I just don't have the same motivation as Boris does. And the Emperor just fucking like rips Malcador a new one. And I'm like,
fucking goes into this guy.
And then like Malcador was like, damn, I think he's actually telling the fucking truth.
Yeah.
Which makes the Emperor even more fucked up.
Oh yeah. The Emperor's like, you ain't shit. You're a little bitch. I use you. You're a tool. You literally mean nothing. The Imperium can live without you. You can't live without the Imperium. Like, I was like, whoa, bro.
Yeah, I mean, this dude's been serving you for thousands of years.
Yeah. And the Emperor just tells him how it is. And I think he's telling the truth. Like,
I also think he's telling the truth.
It's one of these things where it's like, what is the Emperor? Like, aren't all of these people like his tools?
Basically, and it makes you think like, why do people fucking like this guy?
It takes you back to the debate that they had in Master of Mankind between the Blood Angel and the Custodian when they were walking through the people. Like, this is what this reminds me of. It's the fact that it's like the Custodian is like, oh, these people are nothing. What we fight for is the Emperor's dream. And the Blood Angel is like, these people are the Emperor's dream. But like, no one knows.
Mm-hmm.
The Custodians just do what they fucking are told to do. They're definitely yes men, as something as
pretty sure the Emperor would be fine if he was just the only person left.
Yeah, it's so interesting because it's like you don't really know what the Emperor's goals are. Sure, people will be like, well, you could argue that it's to rid the world of chaos.
I mean, if you think about it, can you really get the Emperor's dream without if he's just not the only one? No. I don't think so.
We had an idea of what the Emperor's plan is. We've discussed this before, but as far as how accurate it is, who knows? But two, like his process of achieving it is insane. It literally is insane. Like, he is an insane man. And you have Malcador just being used as a tool, just like all the Primarchs, all the Astartes, and what it seems like is all the humans. And in my point of view is like if all of these things are tools for you to achieve your goal, then who is your goal for?
Yeah.
It's so weird. So weird. So yeah. What was your overall enjoyment of Heralds of the Siege?
I mean, I think this one is definitely carried by a few stories. Like, I think, obviously, I love Now Feels Midnight. I would love to read that again right before I start the siege, just because like how it sets everything up. It's just beautifully written. I mean, I think the board set is good. Magisterium, the more you talked about it, you're right. It was actually fairly good. And then the painted count was really good.
Painted count's great. Yep.
I mean, there's a bunch of stories in here, but there's like probably 5 good ones.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think this is better than Core X as far as anthologies go. I still don't think it kind of reaches that level of the anthology.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's probably my favorite of the anthology so far. I think they did a pretty good job.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there was like actually fairly good ones early on.
Yeah, like with Tales of Heresy and what's the other big one? Age of Darkness.
Yeah. It's good though. I'd probably give this like a 7.
Ooh, a 7? I'd give it a 6. I'd give it a 6. A 7? Atrocious. 7? Like so I give it a 6.8. A 7? It's unheard of. It's insane.
I mean, honestly, like I would read it again just for Now Feels Midnight.
I wouldn't read the whole book again. I wouldn't read the whole book again for Now Feels Midnight. You're telling me you would sit through those Warhounds?
See that Warhounds that was rough. Especially because like I was reading it like at like midnight as I'm feeding my kid. I'm like, God.
Yeah.
Damn. I'm like falling asleep.
You told me you'd sit through that story of Argonis fumbling through telling a story for like at least 3 hours of reading.
But I do it. I had Now Feels Midnight was really good. If I take away anything from this, that should be a must read before the siege. Just because I think it sets the mood so well.
I'm hoping that we get something like that at the beginning of the siege. Man. Like I'm hoping that the Solar War starts up with like this ominous, it's coming, we're here, we're ready to go. Or I'm hoping we get that at the end of Buried Dagger, which I doubt more. But I'm hoping that we do get that at the beginning of the siege. It would kind of suck. It's just like, let's go.
I have a feeling we're gonna have a let's go.
Like
I don't know.
Starts off
that beautiful build up.
Stuff's getting all blown up all over the place immediately. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, so that's it, guys. That is our review of Heralds of the Siege. We will be back next week with our preview of Titan Death. As always, hit us up on Discord. Find that pinned to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. We have movie nights on Saturdays, and I'm hoping consistent hobby time on Sundays. Check those out. Did I just say our Twitter? It's on our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. You can email us at theheresiLodge@gmail.com. Find us on YouTube at The Heresy Lodge. We have merch. I forgot to mention that at the beginning. Check out our merch. Buy some merch. It doesn't do much, but hey, it looks cool. We are part
takes food away from Dylan's child.
Yes. We are part of the Tecticus group Pants of Horse. Check them out. Discord.gg/Pants of Horse. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.